Here's how to use a Pear Deck that you've already created within Blackboard Collaborate Ultra for distance learning. So let's say you've already created a Pear Deck. What you'll do is, as you're going to start your class, you'll want to make sure that you are prepared to share your screen. And then what you'll go do is go to peardeck.com. When you go, you may be prompted to log in. You should log in with your school Google. And so you can see my school Google up here. And what you'll do is you're going to go present a file from Drive. So you're going to present the file you chose. So today I'm going to present this, and we are going to start a live session. You can also make these student paced, but in this case we're going to start a live session so you guys can see how it works when you're doing it with live students. So we're going to start a new session anyway. So now that it's loading, you'll get this screen. And so there's two different ways that you can get kids to access this. One is go to give students a link that'll be copied to your clipboard, and then you can add it to their Google Classroom or Blackboard. Keep in mind that this works only for the session that they're in as they start. So let's say that if you want them to use it for their 9:15, you would only be putting this into the 9:15 class period on Google Classroom, or you may need to give them a different link if you have a different time. So once we go in here, what I want you guys to do is make this a separate window, because you're going to want to use this to see student work, but we're going to also go into your Blackboard Collaborate, and what you'll do here is open the Collaborate panel. So since I was recording, I couldn't access the panel. You're going to go to Share Content, Share Application Screen. I like going to Share Chrome tab so you know exactly what you're sharing, and you'll share your presentation session with your little pair right here. If you press the Windows button and an arrow, that allows you to split your screen, so this way you can see both your Collaborate screen over here, and you can see the Pear Deck that you're sharing over here. But you also want to click over here in the Pear Deck session onto Dashboard. And this will open in a third window. I know this is getting to be a lot. So this will open in a third window, a screen so that you can see what your students are doing. So the teacher dashboard is something that you can see just for you. If you have a second computer or a second screen, I would recommend opening this up somewhere else. I'm going to model this as though you do not, just in the event that you don't have that extra screen. But you could also do this on a tablet. You could do this on your phone, or you could do this on another computer or screen in your house. So let's say that all your students have joined, and so I'm going to join in a different screen so that you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So now that I've joined, you can so you'll see that we're starting the lesson. And so what I'm going to do is just minimize this for now, so that way you can only see when students are answering a question. So the first slide is asking a question, and so students will be drawing anywhere on that slide. This is where you want to see that dashboard so that you can see what they're doing in real time. So you notice it says wait for responses. So I'm going to come over here and just make a silly response. And so you guys can see that this one student who's participating, so you can see who it is, that it's me, Lindsay Fisher, and that I'm kind of off task. I'm just drawing a smiley face. That's probably not my best work. So you could go ahead and say, hi Lindsay, I noticed that you're using the draw feature pretty well. Can you add something more specific so that you can give them some better feedback? Once you notice that enough students have accessed this part of their lesson, you can minimize this again and go on to the rest of your lesson. So notice this says one student. There's only one student in the class right now, so that's why it says that. So next you'll go through and say, okay guys, here's today's lesson. And as you go through, you can just simply talk about your slides. Students will also see this on a different screen, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit. And then what you guys will do is once it gets to these slides, you can see what students are doing again by going down to the notes slide, or going down to your presentation and seeing the responses over here. And so this will allow you to see what students are doing in real time. It'll allow you to comment on them, and it allows students to interact with you and with others in a different way. So hopefully this helps you to boost student engagement in your lessons. Next, I'm going to show you what this looks like from a student perspective. Here's what Pear Deck will look like from a student perspective. So students will see this joinpd.com code, and they should go and join pd.com. I would recommend that they open it up into a new part of their browser and split their screen so that they can see both what's going on in the lesson over here and what's going on the Pear Deck. So I'm going to type in joinpd.com, and then I'm going to join ERPNZ. And now I'm in. So everything's great today. And so now as a student, I can go in and draw my silly smiley face again. If I want to undo it, I can, and so on. Notice I can't go ahead to the next slide or do much else. I can add some extra colors or something like that, but I'm waiting until the teacher moves to the next slide. So that's part of what's going on here. So you'll notice the teacher moves to the next slide, and this is what I see, and as the teacher goes, it moves through. So once the teacher ends the session, and again, you can type in, you can go to answer question down here at the bottom, and this will give you your little space to answer. Notice I'm taking the lesson very seriously. And so at the end, what will happen is your teacher will click end. You can see my little Pokeball down on the Langley High School Assuring application here. And so when you're done as a teacher, you'll want to end session and publish takeaways. And what that does is send your student a Google Doc of their work. You will still be able to see their work as well. So now you can return home. And this is what students will see at the end. So hopefully this helps you understand Pear Deck a little bit better from both the student and teacher perspective, and it helps for you to engage students in a different way and see how they're working in real time. Thank you. So the last thing you might want to do once you're in Pear Deck is you might want to take a look at how students did in that session. So you'll notice that during this practice run session, you might want to see how that class went. And so what you'll do is go here, and so you'll want to go to see the takeaways. Now that this is pulled up, you can go to Open Takeaways in Drive. And what it'll do is it'll show you the responses of each individual student. So here's Lindsay Fisher's responses. As you know, she's a very serious student, but you can see the different things that Lindsay did throughout the session. So here's slide 1, here's what the students said. This is also a document students will see so that they are aware of what they did and so that they are aware that you know what they did. So that's the way that you can go back and reevaluate it as well, and so that's also how you can see the evidence that students did their work. Thank you.